اوكي يا شباب، احنا we have اكتوبر نوفمبر 23 paper 6 variant 1. يلا let's go. Question 1. احنا we have a meter ruler being balanced on a pivot صح, and we have a load P. Okay, load P is on point كام on the 90 centimeter mark صح. Point P is on the 90 centimeter mark. Calculate the distance from the 90 centimeter mark to the 75 centimeter mark. يعني من الآخر the distance from 90 centimeter mark to the pivot. It's quite easy صح. Can I calculate the distance and record this distance in the table? Yes. 95 minus 17. It's very easy اهو. 90 minus 17 75. انا مش عارف ليه, why did I say 95 and 17. 90 minus 75 would be 15. يبقى it's quite simple. That's all I need to do. 90 minus the 75. Okay, and now it's balanced. She repeats the procedure by placing load P at the 85 centimeter mark, 80, 75, and 70 marks. Okay, and she measures the distances A and B. She keeps on measuring the distances A and B. حلو. اوكي ماشي. um... اوكي, كان في هنا في question. اوكي. Anyway, يلا let's plot. Okay, هنا next question. احنا we need to plot a graph. How can I plot this graph? أول حاجة he said plot a graph of A slash centimeters on the y-axis. يبقى first of all I have to write down A slash centimeters. Okay, 15 هنا actually I can write it down 15. Yes, I can write it down 15 or 15.0. خلي بالكوا in this specific question. Okay, in this specific question احنا we can write it down 15. Okay, or we can write it down 15.0. ايه ده اشمعنى يعني why اشمعنى why can I write it down 15 or 15.0؟ عشان هنا I have two significant figures, هنا I have three significant figures. if I write it down 15, I can leave it 15. If I write it down as 15.0, I can leave it as 15.0. Both are correct in this question. Okay, حلو. يلا moving on to the plotting. A slash centimeters. يبقى أول حاجة y axis I have to write down A slash centimeters صح. طيب on the x axis I have to write down B slash centimeters. يلا x axis B اهو كده. I took 1 out of 4. I can leave it كده. I can take 1 out of 4 and خلاص that's it. If you يعني if you don't care about the three other marks. بس لا, أنا I will continue. دلوقتي the A axis start the Y axis يا شباب. start the Y axis at A equals what? 0 centimeters. خلاص A هنا I have to, I must start at 0 centimeters. ايه ده يعني I have to start at the origin صح؟ لا, we will not start at the origin. Okay, I will only start the Y axis from 0. طب what about the X axis? he said start the X axis at a suitable value. يعني actually if you start from 0, if you start the x-axis هنا from 0, it would be wrong. Okay, if you start the x-axis from 0, it would be wrong. طيب, let's finish up the y-axis الأول. I started from 0 and let's check the A. 7.5, 9.4, 11 لحد 15, up to 15. طيب, how can I scale this graph? طيب, let's see. If I go by twos, تعالوا نجرب. Let's try it out. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, and I'm trying out and I don't know if it will work ولا لأ. Okay, اهو 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Did it? 16, yes. يبقى this one is quite suitable. كده it's perfect. طب يا مستر لا, I wanted to go 0, 5, 10, 15. اهو بصوا كده, if I write down 0, 5 اهو 0, 5, 10, 15, would that be correct? لا, it cannot be correct. Okay, that's very wrong. احنا if we do it this way 0 5 10 15, that's خلاص يعني كده zero. You will lose a mark. You will definitely lose a mark. طبعا if you go 0 10 20, that's definitely even way worse. خلاص, يبقى the most suitable scale for this graph is 0 2 4 6 8 10 12 14 and 16. خلاص, this is a suitable graph. طيب, what about the suitable scale for the x-axis? طيب, let's look at the x-axis. هنا the B started from 62.5. صح. And it moved on to 75. طبعا I will definitely not start from zero. Definitely I cannot start from zero. طيب 62.5 يعني. طيب let's start from 60. تعالوا نجرب كده. What if I start from 60? The one after would be 62. ماشي. 64 and I'm trying it out. Let's see. 66, 68, 70, 72, 74 76 لا this is very suitable. ليه why is it very suitable؟ انا I will start off at 62.5 حاجة هنا and I will end off at 75 حاجة هنا. يبقى I took most of the graph. I spread out the numbers onto the graph. يبقى كده I'm right. Okay. خلاص يبقى this is the best suitable scale for the y أو for the x axis in this case. ماشي خلاص this is easy صح؟ ماشي. حلو. Let's plot the points. يلا let's plot the points. أول point 15 and 75. ماشي. 15 ال y axis وال 75 ال x axis. يلا I will zoom in. 75 هنا it will be in the center و 15 will be in the center. يبقى this is a very easy point. small x هنا صح. very small x كده. طيب. ايه ال question؟ قول لي.
مثلا هو بس انا ممكن حضرتك تبقى تبعت لنا الفايل ده عشان
يس
مش
يس
معايا
اوكي اوكي اوكي.
اوكي.
Hmm. أم... ايوه.
يا مستر هو الامتحان مش عندنا في الكتاب.
ايوه I know I sent it. I sent it.
اه.
اوكي. يلا. next point is 71.9 و 13.1 يعني 72 71.9 I can plot it as 72 او هشوف if I have 71.9 exactly خلاص يبقى I write it down as 71.9 with 13.1. طيب 71.9 فين 71 ادي 71 اهي 71.9 يعني it's half a square before 72 صح. half a square before 72 و 13.1 is half a square above 13. تعالوا انا I will zoom in. اهو تاني ايه ده ايه اللخبطه دي يعني ايه half a square above 13 this is 13 اهو يعني half a square above. طيب وهنا ده كان ال 72 يبقى half a square before the 72 يعني it will be حاجة هنا in the center of this square. the center of this square. طيب I have the second point. طيب what about the third point؟ يلا بسرعة. 68.8 and 11.3. 68.8 68.8 اهو just before the 69 يعني one square before the 69 اهو كده طالع هنا صح. اهو طالع هنا. وبعدين 13.3 اوكي ادي 12 و 13.3 لا 11.3 اوكي 11.3 ادي 11.3 تبقى هنا اوكي 11.3 هتبقى هنا. ماشي. بعدين يلا خلي بالكم يا شباب this is a tricky graph. يلا we need to plot it quite carefully يعني 65.6 و 9.4. 65.6 ادي 65 65.6 65.6 اوكي 62 65.2 65.4 65.6 اوكي وكم 9.4. يلا 9.4 يعني هنا تبقى هنا. يلا it's a very tricky graph يا شباب اوكي. يلا next graph او next point is 7.5 و 62.5. يلا 62.5 ماشي 62.5 هيبقى في نص سكوير هنا with the 7.5 7.5 ادي 7 7.5 يلا اهو برضو في السنتر of the square صح in the center of both squares. يلا معنا all of the points دلوقتي. احنا we can draw بقى a line of best fit صح. This is quite obvious يعني and it will be a straight line. This is very obvious and it will be a straight line not a curve. مش هنقعد نوصل مثلا يا شباب. I saw a lot of your mistakes. Please don't do this mistake. Don't go مثلا I will مثلا هعمل كده and then this point with this point and then this point with this point كده و this point لا كده غلط. This is totally wrong. احنا we will draw one continuous straight line. Okay, we'll draw one continuous straight line and then find the gradient. طيب let's draw the continuous straight line until we find the gradient. يلا انا I will draw the gradient كده. Okay, انا I will draw the gradient اهو. يبقى حاجة اوكي. this is حلو كده، حلو الخط ده كده. اوكي اهو اللاين it passed almost through all of the points, one point below, one point above. This is a really really good line عامة compared to most of the other lines that we drew before. عامة this is a very يعني easy line. Okay, it doesn't have to go through all of the points خالص. لا, it doesn't need to go through all of the points at all. لا, it could only go through مثلا 2 points, 3 points مش عارف ايه. one point could be above, one point could be below. ايه سؤالك؟ هم.
معلش، هو لما انا برسم اللاين.
هم. ايه مش سامع؟ الو. طيب واضح ان في مشكلة. طب try to text السؤال انا I will try to answer it ان شاء الله. um, يبقى تاني this is the line that I drew. طب how can I find the gradient again for the millionth time? How do I find the gradient يا شباب؟ I have to use the triangle method. Okay, I must use the triangle method. How can I use the triangle method؟ اهو I will draw two lines كده اهو triangle كده. طب يا مستر احنا we will already use the equation اللي هو y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Do I have to use the triangle method? Yes, you have to plot, you have to draw this line. You must draw this line. A triangle method. You have to do it. طب if you don't do it, you will lose a mark. خلاص؟ يعني هنا ال gradient it's worth 2 marks. If you don't do this point, if you don't do this triangle method, you will definitely lose a mark. طيب let's calculate. Okay, rise over run هنا الماكسيمم rise was كام؟ Okay, 15.0 minus 7.5 over 75 minus 62.5. يلا. Okay, this is the line. Please make sure into you drew this line. Okay, let's remove it دلوقتي. Okay, and calculate. يلا. 15 minus 7.5 over 75 minus 62.5. يلا حد يكالكليت كده please try to calculate it بسرعة quickly. أنا I will try to find my calculator. Okay, divided by 12.5. 0.6 صح؟ I hope ان انتوا you all got 0.6 the same this same gradient. ماشي. Does it have to start from the origin? No. لا 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 خالص. The line اهو انا I drew this line. Your question was does the line of best fit have to start from the origin? No, it does not. Actually, most of the lines that we will be drawing in paper 6 do not start from the origin at all. خالص. Okay. فاحنا we'll draw it as the points are. Okay, wherever بقى the intersection is. هنا for example the y intersection. Okay, the y-intercept was at 6. It's not from the origin خلاص. يبقى it doesn't have to start from the origin. Okay, ماشي. The weight of the meter ruler is numerically equal to 2g. Is numerically equal to 2g. خلي بالكم. Usually most of these questions he just says that it's numerically equal to g. For example, this time he said it's numerically equal to 2g. What do I mean by 2g? يعني whatever value you got in the gradient. Whatever value you got in the gradient. What will you do? You'll just multiply it by 2. خلاص. You will just multiply it by 2. يبقى هنا I got 0.6. I will multiply 2 times 0.6. It would be كام؟ 1.2. بس هنا I can write down a unit. صح. I can write down a unit. The unit of the weight is newtons. صح. Unit of the weight is newtons. بس that's it. خلاص شكرا. I'm done. صح. I am done with the question now. طيب moving on. يلا. Suggest one practical reason why is it difficult to obtain an accurate reading for A and B. Again, احنا we need to remember the difficulties that we faced while balancing the ruler. And I told you you have around 4 or 5 difficulties. They are the same يا شباب. They are the same difficulties. أنا دايما أقول لكم إيه I have the same difficulties for all of the experiments. Okay. But one of these practical reasons why is it difficult. Okay. Why is it difficult to obtain measurements for A and B? Initially, it's already difficult to balance the ruler. Okay. And if I have the ruler on a pivot, okay, and I'm putting a load on one side or the other side, it's already difficult to balance this ruler. So it would be even more difficult to take the readings of A and the readings of B. So that's one practical reason. إيه ده هو that's a very trivial and a very easy, maybe a stupid reason. But should I write it down? Yes. Yes. Oh, it is difficult, okay, to balance. It's difficult to balance the ruler. خلاص. It's as easy as that يا شباب. It is as easy as that. مثلا حد تاني يقول لي um, uh, the loads are sliding, for example. Okay, it's difficult because the loads keep on sliding. Okay, ماشي. That is one practical difficulty. Okay, that the loads are sliding. خلاص. فيعني these are some of the practical, some of the very trivial and easy errors. لا, parallax error, it's not okay. It's not a difficulty in this question. Okay. يعني one practical difficulty is parallax error a difficulty in this question. لا. ليه؟ عشان I'm not taking the measurement of distance, for example, or حاجة. He didn't tell me what is one بص كده what is one precaution while taking the reading of the ruler. لا, he didn't ask that. He's asking about balancing الرولر. He's asking about balancing the pivot. ما هنا I have a ruler and I have a pivot. But it's already difficult to balance the. طب when should I say the parallax error? When he says, for example, why should we take the reading from the ruler perpendicularly? ساعتها I would say to avoid the parallax error. Okay, that's when I say a parallax error. Using only the apparatus provided for the experiment, explain briefly how you would determine the position of the center of mass of the meter ruler. How would I determine the position of the center of the mass of the meter ruler? Again, one of the precautions we said about this specific experiment. How should I determine the position of the center of mass? And very simply, very simply, move the ruler slowly. صح كده? Yes, just move the ruler slowly until it balances. That's it. صح. And I will keep on moving the ruler كده to the left or to the right slowly until it balances. بس كده. Move the ruler slowly to the left or to the right until until it balances. بس that's it. خلصت. Okay. ماشي. يلا. Moving on to the next question. يلا. Circuits. Assume places sliding contact at a distance 20 centimeters from B. صح? Sliding contact at a distance of what? 20 centimeters from B. ماشي. يبقى it's quite obvious إن هو this sliding contact will start to move. صح? Well, the whole purpose of a sliding contact هو ايه؟ in this sliding contact can move to the left or to the right. That the length could increase or decrease. And therefore, if we remember بقى from the physics, that whenever the length increases, what happens to the resistance? The resistance increases. يبقى probably he will ask about this question. we need to probably think, he will ask me about this relationship between the length and the resistance. صح؟ طيب. First of all, طبعا he must give me the current and the voltage, and we need to take the readings. يلا. Write down the readings of the current and the voltage. يلا. هنا the current, if I zoom in and I look at the current, it's 0. And I know a lot of you will say, it's 0.68. لا, it's not 0.68. هنا I reached 0.7. صح? This is 0.7. So 0.7, 72, 74, and 76. يلا. يبقى the current هنا is 0.76. Write down the current 0. What? 76 amperes. Don't forget to write down the unit. Record the potential difference V. I need to write down the voltage. Okay. I I need to write down the voltage. هنا I have the current 0.76. طب what about the voltage هنا? I will لا, this is an easy voltage بقى صح. 0.1 0.2 0.3 0.4 and 0.5. يبقى هنا the voltage is quite easy. 0.5. I'll just write it down as 0.5 in the table. يلا, writing down 0.5 in the table. And I can leave it as 0.5 عادي, no problem. طيب, can I calculate the resistance and use the equation R equals V over I? ماشي, very easy. R equals V over I 0.5 over 0.76. يلا, 0.5 divided by 0.76, it will be 0.66. صح. طب يا مستر, أنا I want to write it down as 0.7. Would that be correct? Yes. 0.7 هنا is correct. أو if you write it down as 0.66 برضو it is correct. ماشي? No problem. طيب, R over L. يلا, let's calculate R over L. R اللي هو 0.66 divided by L 20. صح. 0.66 divided by 20. Let's calculate it كده بسرعة. Okay. 0.66 divided by 20. That would be 0.033. صح. 0.033. خلي بالكم, شوفوا احنا we took how many marks? 1 2 3 4 marks out of nothing. Literally احنا we did nothing. وانا I will take even 2 more marks دلوقتي just to complete the column headings. Column headings هنا. length is in, ايه ده, هو was it millimeters ولا centimeters? ايه ده, انا I don't know يا جماعه. هي it's written down 20 what centimeters. خلاص, يبقى L is in centimeters. ال V voltage انا I know ال V. R انا I know ال ohms. صح. R over L, that's something new. صح. It's okay يا شباب, عادي. R over L. R is ohms and L is centimeters. يبقى ohms per centimeter. صح. ما احنا يعني عادي. It's okay if we have new if we have new units. It's okay. It's very simple. طيب, يلا, خلاص, that's very easy. يبقى احنا we took how many marks? 6 very easy marks. Let's zoom out بقى سنة. Write a conclusion about the relationship between R and L. Oh, here's the question. مش بقول لكم write a conclusion about the relationship between R and L. احنا we already know. We already know that the relationship between R and L should be directly proportional, and that as L increases, R should also increase. صح. طب بس برضو I have to make sure. احنا we must make sure. R. طب when L was 20, R was 0.66, 62.1, 103.3. Yes, it's very obvious that they are increasing together. Yes, I can write down that it's a directly proportional relationship. Oh, directly proportional. Okay, and as L increases, R increases. Okay, as L increases, R increases. ها, ايه سؤالك؟
بص ممكن بس حضرتك تطلع فوق اشوف حاجه بسرعه.
ماشي. Okay, just ماشي. هنا.
ايوه مستر، طب ازاي يعني هو دلوقتي كانت 20 سنتيمتر، لما ال كانت 20 سنتيمتر الار كانت 0.033
لا
100
لا لا لا
سنتيمتر.
لا 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 لا. انت كده you're talking about R over L. هو انا am I talking about R over L ولا am I asking؟
اه
شفت بقى؟ اه.
اوكي اوكي.
اوكي.
اه صح.
اوكي, حلو. يبقى طبعا I'm talking about ال R over ال R only. اوكي, ال R alone, the resistance alone 0.66, 2.1 and 3.3. طب when he asks me to justify, what do I mean by justify يا شباب؟ يعني I must, you must use numbers from the table. Okay, you have to write down numbers from the table. يعني I must write down numbers from the table, and I will check the table هنا. I have when L was 20, R was 0.66. When L was 100, R was 3.3. But this is proof. Justify means a justify means that you must prove with numbers from the table. Okay, or from numbers from whatever بقى calculations that you did. يبقى when, يلا, I'll write it down. When L equals 20 centimeters, R was equal to 0.66 ohms. طيب when L equal 100 centimeters, R was equal to 3.3 ohms. صح هي كانت 3.3. يس 3.3. ايه سؤالك؟
مستر هو ليه طيب بيقول في سطر كده فوق look carefully at values of R over L دي.
لا ما هو عادي، هي عايز يلخبطك. اوكي.
ماشي.
ماشي. Use the values in table 2.1 to estimate the resistance R2 of 2 meters of the resistance wire. R2 of what? Of 2 meters of the resistance wire. طب هنا I have the length in centimeters. I have the length in centimeters. Can I find the resistance when the length was in meters? Yes, I can. ازاي؟ هنا 100 centimeters. When I have 100 centimeters, isn't that 1 meter? Isn't this 1 meter? Yes. And again, R and the length are directly proportional. What do I mean directly proportional? I can write down a ratio. ازاي؟ cross multiplication. R and L. When the length was equal to 1 meter, اللي هو 100 centimeters, resistance was 3.3 ohms. Resistance was 3.3 ohms. طيب, what happens if the length becomes 2 meters? Can I find the new resistance? Yes, I can find the new resistance. I will just multiply. So I will just cross multiply. بس خلاص هو خلاص كده. yes هو خلاص. يبقى find the resistance R2 L and I'm cross multiplication 2 times 3.3. It would give me around 6.6. It would give me around كام 6.6. That's it. خلاص خلاص that's it. Yes, I took 3 marks just to multiply a very simple multiplication, very simple working out. شباب, this is a very easy question honestly. يعني this question بالذات بتاع circuits, this is one of the much easier questions for the circuits. Okay, all I did was multiply, cross multiply, directly proportion. As L increases, R increases. I calculated the resistance, I calculated the length. خلاص, it's very easy. Okay, بس حلو. Any questions? ماشي. يلا طبعا هنا يعني if you don't know how to cross multiply, what did I do? I did 2 times 3.3 over 1. ماشي. Yeah, moving on to this question. Hina, I have a lens, an object, illuminated object, and a screen. He needs me to measure the height h naught of this object. طبعا, when we measure the height of this object, what should it be? The height of this object, يا شباب, will be around 1.5. Okay, طبعا 1.5 what? 1.5 centimeters. طب, if you measure it, if you printed out the exam and you measure this height, it probably will be a bit less. It could be 1.4, 1.3 something. Okay, it could be a bit less than 1.5 centimeters. Why is that? It's because it's due to the printing. Okay, because you have a printer different than the printer which was printed out initially. And it's very normal. Do not worry if your answers aren't exactly, and بالذات especially while measuring the distances. Okay, especially while measuring the distances. طيب, figure 3.1 is drawn to 1/10 scale. 1/10 scale. On figure 3.1, measure the distance u. Can I measure the distance u? Yes, definitely. I can measure this distance u. برضو, again, when you are measuring this distance, it would probably be less than the actual length. Okay, the actual length was 2 centimeters. Okay, 2.0 centimeters. Again, if you measure it and you find it to be, for example, 1.9, that's okay. بس إن شاء الله in your actual exam, okay? إن شاء الله in your actual exam, all of you have to get the same reading, okay? There are no, يعني شباب, there's no range in the actual exam. بالذات, especially in these measuring questions. Especially in the measuring questions, there are no ranges. خلاص, ما فيش range. هو we all have the same ruler, and this is the same paper, and that's the same printing وكل حاجة. We will all have the same measurements. So please, while measuring in the actual exam, be very, very careful while taking the readings. Okay? طيب, the actual object is at a distance of u equals 20 centimeters. The actual, oh, yes, this is 10th the scale, yes, which is true. When I measured U 2 centimeters and the actual object is at the U 20 centimeters, oh, you can actually make sure that your reading is right. You can make sure that your measurement is right. U, what is U, يا شباب? Again, U is the distance between the lens and the object. Oh, this is U. Okay, so if you measured U, for example, in the exam, and it was, let's say, 1.9. Oh, if it was 1.9, then definitely if you multiply 1.9, it would be 19, which is wrong. But we have to make sure that it is 2.0. Why? Because the actual object is at a distance of 20 centimeters, which is 10 times the distance drawn here, okay, in this question. Okay, but please, yani sometimes, not always, sometimes he helps me, okay? Sometimes he gives us some clues in the exam, which can help us out to make sure ان احنا we're right يعني. طيب, this student places the lens at a distance 20 centimeters. He moves the screen slowly until a clear focused image is formed. He measures the distance V. ركزوا يا شباب. Okay, listen up. He measures the distance V between the center of the lens and the screen. On figure 3.1, the distance is represented to scale by the distance V, the small distance V. Can I measure the distance V? ماشي, okay, حاضر. I will measure the distance V. Okay, I will measure this distance V. طيب, when I measure this distance V, it will be 8 centimeters. Okay, again, due to your printing, it could be a little less. Okay, يبقى if I measure the distance هنا 8 centimeters and write it down هنا as 8 centimeters, would that be correct? تقولوا لي لا, that's not correct. Why? That's not the actual distance. That's the scaled distance. That's 1/10 the scale. Huh? That's 1/10 the scale. That's not the actual distance. طب how can I find the actual distance? 8 times 10 should give me 80 centimeters. طيب يا مستر, I like to do it اللي هو 8 divided by 1 over 10. أنا عارف الفزلكة بتاعتكم دي, ها? 8 divided by, it would give you also 80 centimeters. فيعني 8 times 10 is much easier. يعني just multiply it by the scale and it would give you 80 centimeters. ماشي, خلاص, it's easy, صح? It's quite easy. we just need to make sure ان we can measure the scale. Okay, ان we can measure it correctly. ماشي, حلو, حلو. Moving on, calculate and record in table 3.1 the magnification M. ايه ده؟ ايه magnification M؟ عادي يا شباب. P over U. Capital كذا كده, ها? Capital V over capital U. Capital V is 80, صح? And capital U is 20. خلاص, 80 over 20. بس كده? Yes, that's it. That's it. اهو 80 over 20, which is 4. بس, yes, بس. ايه ده? It's easy. Yes, it is easy. Okay. 4, ممكن نكتب 4.0 أو 4.00. Okay. 4.00. The actual V was what? The actual V was 80. The actual V was 80. طيب, what about HI over H0? I have HI. Do I have H0? Do I have H note? ايه ده؟ لا, I don't have H. يا مستر, ايه ده؟ احنا question is wrong. لا, واحدة. H note, فين H note؟ نرجع كده. اوكي, نرجع كده. Where's H note? H note اللي هي ايه؟ This is H note. This is H0. 1.5 centimeters, صح? We have to make sure ان هو, بصوا كده, you have to make sure ان هي they both have the same unit. For example, هنا some people wrote down H note as 15 millimeters. Some people could do that and it would be correct. Don't worry. It would be correct if you write it down as 15 millimeters. بس هنا, to find out HI over H note, you have to make sure that the HI is in centimeters and H note is also in centimeters. Okay, يلا, let's calculate it. 5.9 centimeters over 1.5 centimeters. If you had your H note in millimeters, you had to change it to you had to change it to centimeters. يلا, let's calculate it كده بسرعة مع بعض. Okay. 5.9 divided by 1.5 would be around 3.9. 3.9. حلو, سهلة. The student repeats بقى the procedure using U equals 30 اهو in the second row. The readings are shown in the table 3.1. The student suggests that the magnification M is equal to the ratio HI over H note. magnification M is equal to HI over H naught. طب is that true or not? طب I need to find out. 4.0 is it equal to 3.9? ايه ده والله they seem to be very close. 1.16 is it equal to 1.2? ايه ده 1.2 اللي هو 1.20 you mean? Yes. برضو they seem to be very close. طب are they within the limits of experimental error أو experimental accuracy? طب let's try it out. صح. Let's try it out. For example, if I use 1.20 divided by 1.16 let's calculate it كده. Okay. Let's find out 1.20 divided by 1.16 it would be 1.03. That's within the limits. 3%. طب if I calculate, for example, 4 divided by 3.9, is that 4 divided by 3.9, is that within the limits? Yes. 4 divided by 3.9. But it's almost 1.025, which is almost 1.03. Again, 3%. يبقى is that accurate? Yes. Statement. What should I write down the statement? Do I agree or don't I agree? Yes, I definitely agree. Yes. Okay, agree. Okay, or they are the same. Okay, yes, they are the same. They are equal. Type, why are they equal? Yeah, I'll write it down. 4 and 3.9 are ايه يا شباب if I agree يبقى they are very close. Very close and within the limits of experimental accuracy. صح اهو. I proved it. I proved ان هما they are close. 3% error, that's nothing. 3% is nothing. And you have up to 10 or 15%. Okay, there's a gray area between 10 and 15%. This gray area, you could say yes and you could say no. Okay, above 15%, definitely no. Below 10%, definitely yes. But between 10 and 15%, it's quite of a gray area. You could say yes because you think they are close. You can say no because you think that they are not close. ماشي. Suggest how you would continue to use the same apparatus to test the suggestion that the magnification is equal to the ratio HI over H naught. Again, this question is repeated a lot in questions in paper 6. How would I continue to use the same apparatus to test the suggestion that the طب هنا he did only 2 experiments. U was equal to 20 and U was equal to 30. Is that enough for paper 6? Is that enough for an experiment? Definitely not. Definitely it is not equal. It's not enough. What should I do? I have to repeat the experiment. قلت لكم يا شباب هو نفس it's the same question. Okay, what should I do? I have to repeat the experiment using what? Using different values of U. How many values of U? And again, for the 100th time, I said we must use at least what? At least 5 units, 5 numbers, 5 different numbers of U. طب should I state them? If you want to, okay. Okay, if you want to, okay. Let's write it down. Repeat the experiment. Repeat the experiment. هو الفكرة. Okay, the whole thing is that this experiment is not enough. Doing 2 tests on an experiment is never enough. يبقى how should I make sure that my suggestion is correct? I have to repeat the experiment using more values. More values of U. Okay, how many values? For example, let's say we had 20 and 30. Let's give him مثلا more. 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. 5 more values. أو if you write down 3 more values so that the total number. بص يا شباب, if I write down 3 more values, for example 40, 50, and 60, so that the total number of values was 5, إذا فين 5? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's 50. That's 5 values. Again, and how should I again يا شباب, how should I make sure that I'm doing this experiment correctly? Any experiment, physics, biology, chemistry, whatever science you're doing, any experiment could have some anomalous values. What do I mean by anomalous values? يعني some values could be incorrect او some values could be اللي هو ايه ده it just came up كده okay او I could have done some sort of error okay I forgot to take the reading accurately I didn't take the reading perpendicularly whatever error I didn't start from zero صح there could be several errors while conducting an experiment. How should I make sure that I can يعني ايه I can decrease the percentage of these errors? What do? I repeat the experiment several times. I do the experiment more than once and on different values so that I make sure that my suggestion is correct. I have to make sure that this suggestion is correct. So repeat the experiment using several values, more values of u. How many values? At least 5 values. That's why شباب in the question of the plan experiment I always tell you use 5 values in your range of values. So range use at least 5 values for your independent variable. This in this question, the independent variable is what is the u. The independent variable in this question is what is the u. So instead of using only 20 and 30, لا, use more. Use way more. ماشي. Good. حلو. Plan an experiment. A student investigates the time taken for water to evaporate to dryness. Okay. The water should evaporate to dryness when heated from above. Figure 4.1 shows the setup power of the heater is constant. The following is also available: a supply of water, okay, at room temperature, and a meter ruler. Okay, these are the apparatuses I have. حلو كده. These are the apparatuses we have. Plan an experiment to investigate how one factor, ركزوا كده, how one factor affects the time taken for the water to evaporate. How one factor affects the time taken for water to evaporate. What are the factors that could affect the water to evaporate يا شباب? What are the factors that could affect the water to evaporate? We have several factors in this question. Again, let's try to understand the question quite simply. Let's try to understand. What do I have? I have an infrared heater. I have a heater. ماشي. I have some water in a tray or in a dish, and the heater is above this dish, and it will start to heat up the water until the water evaporates completely. What are the factors that could affect evaporation? Volume. طبعا. Yes, volume of the water. Distance of the water from the heater. This is a really good one. The distance of the water from the heater. Correct. Other factors that could affect برضو are what? Are the initial temperature of the water. Other factors are, for example, the room temperature. Other factors are the surface area of the water. صح? If the surface area of the water was less, the evaporation would be less. صح? So we have several factors. طب يا مستر, which factor should I choose? Whatever factor you like. Whatever factor you like. This would be the factor that you will be changing. This will be the factor that you will be changing. طب what should I do? All of the other factors, what should I do with them? They should be constant. They should be controlled variables. صح? They must be constant. Okay. The current entering the power supply. طيب حلو, that's a good one. Okay, كويس. Good thing you said that. هو بصوا, the power of the heater is constant. So this is actually one of the factors that I cannot change. للأسف, this is one of the factors that I cannot change. Definitely. This could have been, على فكرة, this could have been one of the factors that you could change if he had not said that the power of the heater is constant. The power of the heater هنا is constant. يبقى للأسف I cannot change it. I cannot change the power. we know that the power equals VI, بس I cannot change it. Okay. يبقى خلاص I'll do nothing about it. صح؟ يبقى I have several other factors. For example, I will choose an easy factor. Okay, I will choose an easy factor. For example, the initial temperature of the water. Okay, I want to choose that. For example, if you'd like to choose the distance of heater above the water, okay, that would be a fact. If you want to choose the volume of the water, okay, that would be a fact. If you want to choose the surface area of the water, it would be okay. But I would want to I want to say that the range of values, the factor that I will be changing, okay, the factor that I will be changing is what is the initial temperature of the water. يلا range of values. Okay. Oh, the independent. Okay. The independent variable in this question, أنا in my point of view, that's what I want to do. طب do you have to do that? لا. You do not, you're not required to do that خالص. Okay. You are not required to do that. Okay. ممكن حد يقول لي طب لا بص this is too complicated. انت you want to change the initial temperature of the water فانت you will have to get a Bunsen burner, you'll have to get a heater. لا انا I don't want to do that. طب what else could I do؟ هنا مثلا I would just say for example the distance above the water. Okay. An independent variable is the distance, okay, between the heater and the water. Distance between the heater and the water. طيب I need to state some of the distances. Okay, I need to state the 5 variables, the 5 values of this variable. Let's say for example 10 centimeters. يلا 20 centimeters. 30 centimeters, 40 centimeters, and 50 centimeters. طيب اهو range of values اول حاجه. بعدين ادي range of values. طب بعدين هنقول له ايه؟ احنا we need to state the key variables. What are the controlled variables? What are the controlled variables؟ هنا طبعا controlled variables are all of the other things. يلا controlled variables. مثلا volume of the water. surface area. surface area of the dish. صح؟ of the dish. طيب volume of water, surface area of the dish. ممكن نقول له الروم temperature. الروم temperature. صح. هنا you can't say بقى يعني هنا I can't say that the controlled variable is the distance between the heater. صح. You can't do that. These are some of the controlled variables: volume, water, surface area. If you have any other controlled variables you can just write it down. صح. uh, for example مثلا if there's some wind مثلا لو أنا مشغل المروحة if I have a fan, okay, I can keep the fan on or can keep it off بس I can't switch it on and off. Okay, don't change the fan. قول لي سؤالك.
بس طب هو الانتنستي بتاعت ال الهيتر ده او
It's
ممكن
constant
تبقى
اهو.
كنترول.
لا ما هو كده
هو
كده he
ايه
said.
اصلا؟
he said that the power of the heater is constant. خلاص he said it. Okay.
اه
He
ماشي تمام
said that the
طيب.
power of the heater is constant. فأنا I can't change that. خلاص. طيب. These are some of the controlled variables. Initial temperature of the water. حلو. he already said that the water is at room temperature بس okay. Initial temperature of the water. ماشي. These are the controlled variables. Again, do I have to write down the apparatuses in this question? Yes. Why? Because he said state any additional apparatuses. State any additional apparatuses. هنا what do I want to do? Plan an experiment. To investigate how one factor affects the time taken. Time taken. يبقى what do I need? Definitely I need stopwatch. يلا apparatuses. Okay. What are the extra additional apparatuses I need? Stopwatch. Okay. I need a stopwatch. That's the most important على فكرة. The most important apparatus you need in this question. طيب apparatuses بعدين I can write down the steps. I can write down the method. What is the method? What should I do in this experiment? What should I do in this experiment? يلا, what are the steps required? Very easy صح? It's a very easy some very easy steps. Same time intervals. لا. Same time intervals هنا would be wrong. ليه same time intervals هنا would be wrong؟ علشان the time would change. The time would be variable. Why would the time differ? Okay. For example, when the heater is 10 centimeters above, the time would be less. صح? When I increase the distance, the time would increase. ليه؟ علشان less heat, for example, reaches the surface or whatever. But whenever I increase the distance, the time would be more. فهنا التايم Okay, I will not talk about the time. أنا the steps I will say for each distance I need to measure the time. For each distance above, or for each distance between the heater and the water. Okay, I will record the time. صح. Oh, for each distance between the heater and for each distance between the heater and the water, record the time taken. Oh, record the time taken for the water to completely evaporate. صح. For the water to completely evaporate. بس خلاص كده. Yes. Repeat for repeat again. قلت لكم one of the very important statements you must write down in each plan experiment. Repeat for all of the distances, for all of the distances. You have to write it down. It's a must. Okay, to say that I will repeat for all of the distances. That's the steps. هو دي كل steps. Yes, these are all the steps you need to write down. خلاص, that's it. Okay, فهنا let's check كده. What did I do? I stated the additional apprentices. I stated briefly what will I do. I wrote down the key variables. Can I write down a table? Yes, I can draw a table. Okay, يلا. I can write down. طب يا مستر, should I write down the table in the lines هنا ولا above in the empty space? أنا I will write it down in the empty space هنا أهو. In this empty space أعمل table كده. Okay. طيب, what are the columns that I have to شباب, what are the columns that you must write down in the table? Okay. Initially you write down the column for the thing that you're changing, for the factor that you are changing. I changed the distance. Okay, يبقى I write down هنا the distance. I changed what? I changed the distance. يبقى I write down the distance using centimeters. And the dependent variable was what? Was the time. كده كده احنا we have to all of us, we must write down the time slash seconds. Why? Because this is the dependent variable. This is the variable depending on whatever factor that we will be changing. Okay. احنا we need to find out what is the time, or how will the time be affected when the factor will changing, when the factor we are trying out changes. صح. ماشي. يبقى distance هنا مثلا, for example, if someone else writes down volume, خلاص يبقى they will write down volume slash centimeters cubed and the time slash seconds. In that case, the distance is constant, ف you don't have to write down the distance. It's as simple as that. Okay, it is as simple as that. You don't need to go on writing down 100 columns. That two columns are usually sufficient. Two columns are usually sufficient. طيب, moving on بقى to the conclusion. Again, conclusion احنا we said it's quite systematic. صح. Conclusion is very very systematic. What should I write down in the conclusion? والله, in the conclusion, what should I do? For each distance, repeat the experiment and take average. Oh, and take average. Again, أنا قلت لكم we have 3 points to write down in the conclusion. Repeat and take average. بعدين record in the table. صح. Record the readings. Record the readings in the table. يلا. After I record the readings in the table, what should I do? Record the readings in the table. بعدين compare. Actually, يعني the most important point in the conclusion is to say that I will compare. Okay, this is the most important point in this. يبقى I will say compare the results. Compare the results. For example, I chose that I will change the distance. يبقى compare the results of the distance with with the time taken. With the time taken. بس it's as simple as that. خلصت. شكرا. Okay, easy. Yes, easy. الحمد لله. It's يعني it's quite an interesting exam. الحمد لله. جميل.